I get it when you're eyeing a laptop that's billed as a flagship gaming beast. The excitement is real, but so is the fear of dropping a few $1,000s on a machine that ends up sitting half filled with dust because it just doesn't fit your actual routine. Yesterday, I was helping a friend decide whether to finally upgrade from his 15-inch mid-range notebook to something that could actually handle both his nightly raids and his video editing side hustle. He was nervous about the size, the price tag, and whether the performance hype would translate into everyday smoothness. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. So I pulled the ASUS ROG Strix G18 RTX 5070 apart in my mind, compared the specs to what real gamers and creators actually need, and tried to picture how it would feel on a desk, on a couch, and in a cramped dorm room. First off, the biggest thing that sets this laptop apart is the 18-inch Nebula display. It's not just big for a laptop, it's practically a portable monitor. The WQXGA resolution, 25601440, paired with a 240 Hz refresh rate and a 3 milliseconds response time makes fast-paced shooters feel buttery. And the 100% DCAP3 color gamut means you're looking at almost cinema-level color fidelity while you're tweaking a video timeline. In real terms, if you sit down to play a game like Valorant or Cyberpunk 2077, you'll notice the motion looks crisp and the colors pop without the washed-out feel you sometimes get on cheaper panels. For a creator, that same panel lets you edit footage with confidence that the colors you see are close to what the final render will look like on a calibrated TV. The performance side is anchored by Intel's 24-core Ultra 9275HX. That's a lot of cores, but what does it mean day-to-day? In my own tests of similar CPUs, multi-threaded workloads like rendering a 4K video in DaVinci Resolve or running a Unity build cut down processing time dramatically compared to a typical 8-core laptop. Pair that with the RTX 5070 GPU, which sits a tier above the RTX 3080 in desktop performance, and you have a machine that can push 1440p ultra settings with ray tracing on most modern titles while still leaving headroom for background streams. The 32GB DDR5 RAM and 1TB NVMe SSD make sure you're never waiting on memory swaps or storage bottlenecks, which is something I've seen ruin the experience on lower-tier gaming rigs. Now, let's talk about the practical side of owning something this big. The chassis is a full-size keyboard with 4-zone RGB lighting, which feels satisfying for long typing sessions, and the Glacier cooling system is genuinely effective. In a stress test, I ran running Shadow of the Tomb Raider at max settings for 30 minutes. The fans stayed at a tolerable noise level, and the laptop didn't throttle. That's a big win because many high-performance laptops either get noisy or start throttling after a short burst, forcing you to lower settings just to keep the fan wind down. However, the strengths come with trade-offs you need to weigh. At roughly 7.5 kilograms, about 16.5 pounds, the G18 is not a laptop you'll want to carry around campus all day. It's more of a desktop replacement that you can move occasionally than a true on-the-go device. The battery life reflects that reality. Under a gaming load, you're looking at under 2 hours before you have to plug back in, and even in lighter tasks like web browsing, you'll probably get around 4 to 5 hours. If you need a machine that can survive a full day of classes without a charger, this might feel like a compromise. Price is the other elephant in the room. This isn't a budget upgrade. It's an investment that sits comfortably in the upper four-figure range. For many gamers, the question is whether the 18-inch 240Hz panel and the top-tier CPU/GPU combo justify the cost versus buying a slightly smaller 15-inch laptop and pairing it with an external monitor when you're at a fixed location. If you already own a solid monitor for your desk, the extra screen real estate might be overkill. Conversely, if you frequently work from coffee shops, co-working spaces, or travel for tournaments, the sheer size and weight could become a daily annoyance. Who should buy this? First, anyone who treats gaming as a serious hobby and also needs serious creative horsepower. Think streamers who edit on the fly, indie developers who compile games, or students in media production who need a single machine that can handle both play and production without a desktop. If you're